Imagine that you have to make a meal for friends and family, but you ran out of ingredients and you don't know what to do. Well, if you're creative and ingenious enough, like Cesar Cardini was in 1924 in Tijuana, Mexico, you create a salad that is now served in hundreds of thousands of restaurants across the world. Today, we're gonna be talking about how to make the king of salads, the Caesar salad. And later on in the Entrepreneur's Pantry, we're gonna be talking about resourcefulness. It's gonna be an amazing show, so stick around. Welcome to my home and my kitchen for an episode of Perfect Mondays, Entrepreneur's Kitchen, where you get to learn how to make amazing meals and how to scale your business with a lot more joy all in one shot. And today we're going to be talking about how to make the king of salads, the Caesar salad. For this recipe, we're going to be using extra virgin olive oil, pepper, Dijon mustard, lemon juice, fillets of anchovies, garlic, salt, super high quality Parmigiano Reggiano. Look at this amazing head of Romaine. I have this French bread, but you can also use gluten-free alternative if you prefer. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start making the croutons. We're gonna cut this bread into small squares. I actually like the croutons kind of small because you can get like a small bite size, and I like them crunchy as well. So let's get to it. Get them about 1 inch wide, and then we're gonna cut them into much smaller squares. And now that we have cut this amazing, delicious bread, I wish you could smell this, into little cubes, we're gonna go turn on the oven to 400 degrees. And what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna prepare these with olive oil, salt, and pepper. And I love to have plenty of pepper, but if you don't, you can just use whatever you want. So now we're gonna mix this. And what you wanna do is you wanna make sure that every little corner of your baking sheet is covered, because you want this to you don't want this to be a little mountain in the middle of it. You want it to get as much exposure to the heat as possible. Now we're gonna put this amazing, delicious bread in the oven at 400 degrees for 10 minutes. These are pretty much ready. I'm gonna take them out of the oven right now. Come take a look. And it smells incredible. So we're gonna check it out. The bread is toasted, and now we're gonna start putting together this amazing dressing. And the first ingredient we're gonna use is anchovies. I use this one that's Vigo. It's a 2-ounce can in olive oil, but you can use whatever you like. And I typically don't use the whole thing. I use about 9 fillets with olive oil. This is what I have right here. And the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start cutting them, chopping them up more, and we're gonna put, even though they're salty already, we're gonna put a little more salt so we can grind them and we can mix it better with the one. I put 1.5 garlic cloves. One of the most incredible things that you can do when you're cooking is prepping your food. I know many people don't like to do this, but this is one of the most incredible things that I find when I am thinking about life and thinking about business, is that it's pretty meditative experience. You get to just be with your thoughts and think about your life and the amazing love that you're putting into your food and how it's gonna nourish your body and your family's body. So it's one of the things that I enjoy the most. So I recommend that you spend some quality time chopping broccoli. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a little bit more salt here. actually some salt. I haven't put salt until now. And it's pretty oily, as you can tell. I'm gonna start mixing it like this. And anchovies is one of the things that people either love or hate. I actually think that the anchovies make it incredibly delicious. And this is one of the things that I remember when I was a kid and I would eat in restaurants in Mexico. They would always make this in front of you, and I loved the smell of anchovies. So we're gonna have this beautiful, amazing paste that's salty already from the natural salt from the anchovies and from the salt that we put. I'm gonna put it aside just a little bit. What we're gonna do is that we're gonna bring cloves of garlic. It's about 1.5 cloves of garlic, and we're gonna start mixing this with the incredible oily anchovies. By the way, anchovies have such good fats for you. I highly recommend. This is a very, very good fish. And if you're nervous about putting raw eggs in here, know that we're gonna cure it with lemon juice. This is like a mayo, so if you've ever eaten mayo, this is kind of like what that is. It's a Caesar mayo, basically. It goes into the bowl. We have this delicious, amazing mix, and it's gonna get better. We're gonna put about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. And I like to put more, I like to have more than what I'll need, just because you never know when you might make it a little more tangy. Then we're gonna put the mustard. This is about 1 chunky teaspoon of mustard. I love the flavor of this amazing mustard, so I'm gonna put all its deliciousness in there. And we're gonna start whisking away. Look at this incredible, deep, rich color from the egg yolks. This is just beautiful. And I can already smell right now the garlic mixing with all these incredible ingredients. And now that we have this mixed pretty well, I'm gonna start putting the olive oil very little by little. I'm gonna drizzle it in. Just a few drops. And you don't want this to sit at the top. You want to keep whisking away. And when it's well mixed, then you can put a little more. How much do I put in here? I never actually measure the amount. It's really more of a feel kind of thing, but I don't put a ton. Nothing better than fresh pepper. This is starting to look like the final product. See how it's runny? It's not super liquidy. And we still don't have the cheese. This is gonna become even richer when we put the cheese. I have to apologize if I don't give you the exact measurements, but cooking is not an exact science, just like business. You're supposed to have fun with it, and you're supposed to test it as you go along. So you can see how much I'm putting here. And what this does is that it's gonna give it the richness of this incredible, delicious aged cheese. So I'm gonna mix it here and see what this tastes like. I haven't tasted it yet, but I have an idea of what this is. I'm gonna take my little spoon here and it's really delicious. It's a little salty and it feels like it needs a little more lemon juice. So I'm gonna do just another teaspoon. Maybe it's a little too much, but that's fine. We're testing things as we go along. Another clean spoon, and It's so rich and so delicious. I wish you could smell this and taste this. One of the things that, because it's got the super richness of the Parmigiano Reggiano, your cheeks get warm. It is silky, it is smooth, it is not runny, it is pretty creamy, and it smells amazing. We're gonna take this dressing, those delicious croutons, and this incredible head of romaine, and we're gonna put it all into a salad. But before we do it, we're gonna go to the entrepreneur's pantry, where we're gonna talk about resourcefulness, and then we're gonna put it all together. So welcome to the Entrepreneur's Pantry. Before we put the salad together, and today we're going to talk about resourcefulness. So imagine for a moment that you have very few ingredients, but you need to make something masterful like Cesar Cardini did. How does that pertain to your specific business? So what am I talking about resourcefulness today? Well, we are still in the middle of COVID, and every time that I help a client transcend their business, we do it with creativity, with ingenuity, and with resourcefulness. Now, resourcefulness is something that is super powerful, and I want to talk about it today from the standpoint of understanding your ingredients. Now, why do I equate cooking to business? Well, when you're cooking as an entrepreneur all the time, I'm physically, literally cooking, it forces you to become super present. If you are chopping onions with a super sharp knife, without paying attention, you're gonna lose a finger. And oftentimes we don't think about it this way, but our business, we have to become still and understand what's going on. I have the chance to do a really cool masterclass, 1 hour masterclass with a friend of mine, Lauren, who owns an incredible cookie company called Sweet Lauren's. The link for the masterclass that I did with her is gonna be on the description of this video. But basically what we're talking about is how she got to know so much about her company, how she got to create these amazing recipes and understand her market so well. Well, the first year that she was in business, she spent it literally doing taste sampling at a Whole Foods market. And every time she would give out tests and people would give her feedback on what the texture was like, what the flavor was like, so many different versions of the packaging that they went through, and she understood what it took to become masterful at what she did. Now, I say this because resourcefulness, if you know the ingredients that you're gonna be cooking, just like Cesar Cardini did almost 100 years ago, then you can create something incredible. So my challenge to you as it pertains to this is, how often as an entrepreneur are you connecting with your customers on a one-on-one basis? I don't mean hire a market research company and have them do this super elaborate study. I'm talking about like you rolling up your sleeves physically and connecting with them one-on-one to understand what's going on, asking them with questions and get a sense of what is the new flavor that you're getting from them in terms of very specific needs that they may have that you may or may not be addressing. One of the reasons why I'm able to help my clients through COVID to turn their business around is because we understand exactly what their customers want, and we're able to take these ingredients and create something masterful. So as it pertains to you, I want to challenge you right now in this Entrepreneur's Pantry session to think about how are you specifically connecting with your customers, and how are you collecting these ingredients, we call them questions, to understand what's going on with them and how you can create a much tastier recipe, if you will, as a result of your understanding of what their needs are. So now we're gonna put it all together, and in order to do that, typically I would just take this plate and put the heads of romaine here and just drizzle a little bit of the dressing and put some croutons on top. This plate is a little too small for these huge leaves of lettuce. If I put them here, it's really not gonna make much sense, but rather than just taking the hearts of the romaine, which typically is what you do, I'm taking the whole leaf right now. These are very rich, they're beautiful, they're bright, dark green, and I'm gonna use them. So instead of doing what I just told you I normally do, I'm gonna cut them up first, and then I'm gonna put a little bit of dressing, mix it all together, and then plate it. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take the knife, just chop a little bit of the greens. You want about this size right now. I'm gonna cut them up in half as well. You hear the crunchiness at the bottom. Something else that you can do while you are waiting for your salad to be made is you can put your leaf of lettuce in a plastic bag for about 10 minutes in the freezer, so when you serve it, it's super crisp and chill and it tastes delicious. So these look pretty big. I'm gonna make them a little smaller. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take this dressing, I'm gonna put a little bit on top, maybe about 2 teaspoons, and it's very rich, so a little goes a long way. And I'm gonna mix it with my hands. I wanna make sure that every leaf of lettuce has got the dressing, so it tastes incredible. I'm gonna put maybe just a little bit more. You wipe your hands. You put this in the center. We want to put a few croutons, depending on how much you like, around. I'm gonna drizzle a little bit more of the dressing on top, just a tiny bit. If you like pepper, which I absolutely love, you're gonna put a little bit of fresh black pepper on top. And then you're gonna take your Parmigiano Reggiano, even though this already has it, and you're gonna put some of it on the very top. So you take your towel and just clean around, make sure that it looks beautiful. And this is it. It's the moment of truth. We get to taste it. I want to make sure that I get all the richness of this, plus a crouton. Once more, my cheeks get warm immediately from the richness of this. This is delicious. It tastes amazing. It smells incredible. It's a much more elevated version from your traditional salad that you might make for your friends or for your family. It's a super decadent treat that you can make in very little time, and I hope that it was helpful. Now, just to close up our segment from before, as you're going out into your week, I want you to think about how you can experiment with your life. What are the ingredients that you need to gather to be able to have a much more fun, exciting business? And until next time, remember to love your life, love what you eat, and love your business. I hope that you enjoyed this episode of Perfect Mondays Entrepreneur's Kitchen. If you like the video, please like it, consider subscribing, and if you're interested in the masterclass that I did with my friend Lauren from Sweet Lawrence, it's going to be on the description of this video. And also, if you're a woman entrepreneur and you want to scale your business and you want to find a lot more joy and have more fun while you're doing it, there's also a link on the description of this video for you to connect with me. I hope that you have an amazing week, and I'm sending you all my love from Austin. I don't think you're gonna like this. When I was serving? Yeah. It's so good. Holy shit.